conditioned into the emotional setting that we get used to. So every time you think a thought that creates a feeling of stress, cortisol gets released in the body. Cortisol, and we're living in it, right? Body goes into fight or flight. We hang on to all of our food. We can't really think past right here. I was driving here in a load of traffic. I started to notice that happening. I was like, whoo, okay, now coming back into the present moment, right? And eventually, if we live in that stressed out state for years or months even, our body starts to go, okay, this is our set point. We're used to this. We wake up in the morning and we're like, where's the problem? I need to feel stressed out. I'm trying to figure out how to feel like myself. Yeah, who can relate, right? That stress and financial stress. Oh my gosh, there is nothing worse than financial stress, right? When we feel that financial stress, it starts to be like, it's like a limiter, right? And if we're used to feeling financial stress, or really any type of stress, it can start to become our baseline state. And when we bring ourselves into new levels of prosperity, or happiness, or freedom, sometimes that upper limit problem just goes, let's bring it right back down. So one thing I want to ask you to do today is to be willing to welcome in new levels of happiness and prosperity into your life. Whether you write that down today, I am willing to welcome in new levels of happiness and prosperity into my life. Whether you write that or you think that, you make this a mantra that you decide to say every day, that you look at in the morning. I'm not saying that you have to know exactly how to do it right this second. That's why you're here. That's why you get this whole day of programming and speakers, and Brian's going to teach you everything he knows about how to make that happen. But you have to be willing to let it in. You have to say, hey, I'm willing to push that upper limit. And when it feels a little scary, when my brain starts to go, I don't deserve it, or I can't have it, or people like me don't get that, you're going to talk back to that part of your brain. You're going to be willing to change your belief system. So a belief is a thought that you take to be true. You've thought it enough times, it becomes a belief. And when you have limiting beliefs, like I'm not worthy of having that kind of money, or it's wrong to profit from something that I love, or this just doesn't happen for people in this industry. If you have any of those types of limiting beliefs, we're going to be here today to help you dispel those limiting beliefs so that you can actually let yourself succeed. Because those limiting beliefs will hold you back over and over and over again. Your life will meet your subconscious beliefs, always. A little story that I love to tell that kind of outpictures how that happens is, imagine there's a little boy in 3rd grade, and he's playing basketball at school, and he saw somebody dunk on TV. He watched an NBA game, and he's like, I'm gonna dunk. And he's in 3rd grade, and he tells all his friends and the girl he likes that he's gonna go dunk. And then he goes out into the playground, and he goes towards the basket, and he tries to dunk, and he doesn't even get close, and he falls flat on his face, and he hurts himself, and everybody's laughing at him, and the girl that he likes is laughing at him, and he thinks to himself, I'm just not good at sports. This must mean that. Because the brain would always rather have a conclusion than have an open-ended question. The brain wants to be certain about something. Sociologist Brené Brown talks about how you release dopamine every time your brain reaches a conclusion. It feels good for your brain to go, that's it. So in that moment, whether he's aware of it or not, he decides that he's not good at sports. That's just what he believes. It's a humiliating experience. It gets solidified in his brain week after week as kids are making fun of him. When he gets to middle school and it's time to try out for the basketball team or the soccer team or the volleyball team or any team, he doesn't want to try out for any team. And then as his friends get better at sports because they did try out for teams, he stays behind. He never gets better at sports. And then when it's time in high school to try out for teams, maybe he does. Maybe he gets the nerve to try out for the soccer team, but he doesn't make it because he's never played a sport. He hasn't run more than a mile in PE ever. And it further corroborates the idea that he's not good at sports, right? This little kid's got this belief in his head, but now he's never made a sports team, so he's got evidence. And then he goes to play tennis with his family, just for fun, But he's so in his head about I'm not good at sports that he hits every ball into the net. Every single ball. And his family's like, oh man, maybe he just... nobody wants to say it, but they're like, maybe he's just not good at sports, And he's kind of overhearing this or feeling this, and now he's got more evidence that he's not good at sports, right? And maybe this kid had the same genes as Steph Curry. Maybe he was going to be like the next phenom in the NBA.
But he's got this belief that he's not good at sports that's produced all this evidence in his life that he's not good at sports. And then he's older and he's playing, catch with his kid, and he accidentally beams his kid in the head because he's so nervous that he's not good at sports that his kid goes, "Dad, you're so bad at throwing balls." Okay, now I'm never going to play a sport again, right? Our life meets our belief system. So if you have the belief that it's wrong to profit from something I love, it's a belief I had for a long time because I love doing this work. I would do this for free. I did do this for free for years, for family and friends, until I realized, okay, I should probably do this professionally. I should probably honor myself, my level of well-being, my life, my needs. I should probably allow myself to have enough money in my bank account to get a root canal if I need it. Really hope I don't need one. I should probably let myself prosper through my talents and my gifts. That seems actually like me doing right by me. If we have a belief that we shouldn't, it's wrong to make money from something we love, then every time we have the opportunity to make money from this something that we love, we won't take it. Somebody would offer you a speaking job, and I don't mind doing this for free because I know where to find you. But in general, I just had a retreat, and from the retreat, somebody asked me to come speak at their convention, and I could tell from the way that they put the email that they would like me to speak for free if I would, but they kind of want to know what the deal is. And it took me a little bit of but I wrote back and I said, "Here's my speaking rate." What they said back was, "Great, this is what we can do." Wasn't my full rate, but it was actually totally fine with me. Great, absolutely, I will do that. But in the past, if I didn't believe that it was right to make money from what I love, I would have said, "I'll just do it for free right away." And there never would have been any sort of negotiation or back and forth. How many people have done that before? Because you love it, you do it for free out of the goodness of your heart, but then later you're mad that you did it out of the goodness of your heart because it took your time, your energy, time and energy that you could have been pouring into your own life, right? You could have got caught up on your errands. You could have kicked your feet up and watched a movie. You could have been with your niece or your nephew or your husband or your wife or your grandson. You could have spent that quality time in your own life, right? And when we don't value our own life, our own time, our own energy, we give it away. And if you believe that it's wrong to make money from something you love, every time the opportunity for making money comes up, you won't take it. And every time somebody asks you to reaffirm that love one more time, by doing one more thing for one more person or one more lesson, you'll do it. And you'll end up resentful and drained and exhausted with no one to blame, but really yourself. We've all been there sometime. And so it's really important today that you're willing to say, "You know what? I deserve to have a life of well-being. Well-being meaning that your needs are met, and they're met by you. Because we are the only one who can meet our own needs. And as much as we can look at our partner or our friends or our family to meet our needs, and as much as we can want them to, and often they do to some extent, we are the one responsible for ourselves at the end of the day. And if we make choices that align with self-worth, that align with it being okay and right for you to prosper, for you to succeed, then we allow our belief system to support us. So what do I mean when I say audit your belief system? It means look through your beliefs, which we'll do in a little bit of a workshop once I'm done with this. Look through your beliefs to look at where they're limiting you and be willing to question those beliefs with your conscious, rational mind. Not your emotional mind, not the, but I feel bad, I feel guilty, with your logical, rational mind. Audit your belief system and be willing to make that belief system work for you. That's the first part. It's number one, the first pillar of an empowered mindset. Number two, be your own best friend, right? Be your own best friend. So many of us are so negative to ourselves inside of our head. You think 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day, 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And over 90% of them come from your subconscious mind, which means that you're not even aware of most of the thoughts you're thinking. And over 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before. They're repetitive. How is it that we get stuck on these loops? Well, the older we get, the more we collect beliefs, right? Something happens. Maybe somebody kind of ignores you. You're talking to a group of people and one person just seems to not be talking to you. Maybe they're just distracted or not even aware that you're standing right there. But your brain goes, they don't like me. I'm not a social person. I'm not somebody with good social skills. And then that belief compounds over time, right? You carry that into the next situation, then you get more and more evidence of it, right? Or maybe when you were a kid, nobody picked you for the teams. I was just telling this story last weekend in volleyball. I remember getting picked last in PE because I thought that bumping motion hurt so much. I was like, hurt so much. So I didn't want to bump the volleyball. So I got picked last. And I remember thinking, yeah, nobody wants me on a team sport. And for years, I carried that forward. I play golf. I'm a dancer. I do yoga. When it comes to playing on a team, I'm like, oh, I don't want to, you guys don't want me on your team, We collect these beliefs over time. And eventually, the accumulation of many limiting beliefs creates the negative bias in the brain where our life gets more and more restricted, right? And we know that feeling. You probably have somebody in your life who's older than you who you're like, wow, they just keep becoming more and more like themselves year after year, right? It's funny. I love those laughs. You know exactly who you're thinking of. People become more and more like themselves, more and more limited if we don't make an effort to expand the mind, to rewire the mind, to support ourselves. So be your own best friend means becoming conscious of the dialogue that you're having inside of your head and making an effort to make it more supportive to you. Your best friend wants you to achieve all your dreams. Your best friend wants you to have all your needs met. Your best friend in that moment of a little bit of fear goes, hey, you got it, you got it. They don't go like, you're never gonna make it happen, quit now. Right? But we do that to ourselves sometimes. It can be so easy to be like, stop. It's never going to happen. You don't deserve that. Who do you think you are? Right? Our own mind can be so self-sabotaging. So today, you're making a choice to push that upper limit of happiness and prosperity in your life, and you're making the choice to become your own best friend. The longest conversation that you're ever going to have in your life is the one that you're having with yourself inside your head. Starts from the moment that you're conscious, it'll end when you die. The longest relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. Longer than even if you met your partner in middle school. The longest one is with you. So if you're stuck with one person for your entire life, don't you want that to be a kind relationship? One person, forever, it's you. Well, the blessing of that is that it's you. You get to decide the quality and content of that dialogue. And when you're speaking to yourself inside your head, can you make the effort to support yourself? Imagining like one of those little sticks that you put next to a baby tree that helps it grow straight. That's your dialogue. That's you being able to say, hey, you know what? That didn't totally go our way, but it's okay. We're going to stay the course. Or, hey, I know it's a little bit hard for you right now to ask for your full rate, but I'm proud of you. Or, it's okay. We got this. We got this. We got this. Or when you're a little bit nervous about whether you can or can't achieve your dreams, you just say, I believe in you. I believe in you. Henry Ford has a great quote, whether you believe you can, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Your beliefs create your reality. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if your beliefs create your reality and you get to audit your belief system and choose your beliefs so that they support you, that's step one. Step two is you got to be your own best friend and nurture that process. Because in the beginning of choosing a new belief and choosing to think in alignment with that belief and choosing to act in alignment with that belief, it's going to feel a little wonky. It's going to feel a little foreign. You're going to feel like you've got me inside your head and you don't know me, right? You know you. You're used to your own voice. That's going to feel familiar. That self-sabotaging voice, that voice of non-belief, that voice of non-deserving. You're used to that voice. Being your own best friend means being willing to sunny up that voice, to be kinder to yourself, to choose more supportive language when you're speaking to yourself, to support your new belief system, which we're going to help you find in the workshop, to support your new belief system with your thoughts on a daily basis. Rewiring your brain takes 66 days. New thought patterns take 66 days to really sink in. And the beginning, the first 20 days, it's going to feel a little bit like, okay, yeah, I'm trying this thing out. Well, yeah, I believe I deserve to prosper. I believe I deserve to feel good in my life. I believe I deserve new levels of happiness and prosperity in my life. It's going to feel a little like, okay, the next 20 days, your subconscious mind is going to want to fight back against it. Your old belief system's going to go, no, let me drag you down. Let's go back to where we're comfortable. Because on some level, you're comfortable with how tight you feel. You know? You're comfortable with how much money comes in, how much money goes out, how stressful or not stressful your bill paying is every month. You're used to it. Your body is conditioned to it. It's accepted it as normal. So there's going to be a piece of you that goes, no, let's just stay here. It's a lot better, right? Just put the show back on. Don't think about it. Just do this. We numb ourselves, right? We go back into this place of like, let's just not try, because trying can be a little scary. Stepping into new versions of ourselves can be a little scary. So as you're noticing that gremlin, that voice coming back in, going like, let's just stay right here, being your own best friend means talking back to it. Because if you were telling your best friend what that gremlin says, I guarantee your best friend will be like, hey, buddy, I believe in you. Or don't listen to that voice. You can do this. You can do this. Just stay the course. You got to coach yourself like you would coach your best friend. If they were thinking those thoughts and they told you what you would want to say to them, you got to say that to yourself. So it's choosing to take on a supportive and compassionate role with yourself. Number 3, act with intention. Act with intention. So how does your life come to be? Your life is a compilation of your thoughts, which create your feelings. Your feelings create your actions, right? When you're feeling down and out, exhausted, over it, right? Netflix and chill, that creates our actions. Feet up, TV on, not taking progress towards our goals. We're just like, no, thank you. When we're feeling inspired, when we're like, yeah, something that I heard this weekend really clicked for me. One thing, you go, you get a coffee, you sit down on your computer, you start making changes, you change your website, you change your offerings. It's not even work. You're just excited, right? That's inspired action. When we're thinking thoughts that create feelings that we feel good, we take action in alignment with that. When we take action in alignment with our worthiness, we step into new levels of success and happiness for ourselves. When we take action in alignment with our unworthiness, I don't deserve this, I can't have this isn't for me, this is for other people, what do? We take the action of inaction, which is still an action. Not doing something, also a choice, right? And we think, well, if I just don't make any choices, I won't feel bad about it. If I'm just not doing anything, I won't feel bad about it. Well, choosing to not do anything is a choice. There's no way. So you get to make a choice every day of your life. Is this action bringing me a little bit closer to the version of me that I want to be, to the version of my life that I want to be living in? Or is this action kind of taking me down the path of least resistance, which is the way your brain is used to functioning, and into more of the same? And if we continuously choose that way, we replicate our past into our future. Copy and paste, right? And have you ever felt that feeling of it's a different circumstance, but you're feeling those same old feelings? It's like the same lesson came back around in a different form. It has a different face on it. It's a different person, but it feels the same. It feels the same. Life is trying to give you the opportunity to make a new choice. Because something hurts, and it feels like a little pebble, right? And then it feels like a rock, and then it feels like that knocked me out. That really hurt. That was not okay. And eventually we get to that place of like, that was not okay. We go, I gotta make a change. And if you're only at the pebble stage, amazing, great. Get out ahead of it. If you're at the, hey, I've been hit by a couple rocks, now's the time. This is your life. Nobody said you had to come here and fully give yourself away, that this life isn't for you too. Yes, you're going to give away your remarkable talents, your gifts, the things that you were put on this earth to truly give. And out of respect for those gifts, you're going to take care of yourself and take care of your life. Give yourself a life of well-being. Give yourself a life where you have enough money coming in, enough free time to really feel good, to really enjoy your life. Give yourself that gift of supporting yourself from the inside out, of changing that inner dialogue so that you can actually enjoy your existence. Because you're not just here to work. You're not just here to give. You're here to enjoy your life as well. And until we give ourselves the ability to even enjoy our life, how can we possibly expect that happiness to just drop in? You know, when you're up to the gills in work and you're down to the margins in your free time, you're down to the margins in your funds to actually, go get a manicure, go get a massage. Give yourself the gift of taking a lesson for yourself, right? When was the last time you got to invest deeply in yourself and your own skill set and the things that you're actually interested in? So living with intention, choosing how you act and choosing to act from your empowered belief system, not your limited belief system. That will change your life radically. Living with intention and being aware of how your choices are impacting you. Not going, how does this affect everyone else? How will this impact my clients? How will this impact my friends, my family? What about you first think about, how will this impact me? And then let it go out. Maybe that means your client can't have a lesson on Sunday because you're taking a day for you. Or maybe it's Monday. Bless you. Maybe that means you can't say yes to everyone. Maybe that means some people will be priced out of your offerings and we'll find somewhere else. And that's okay. But the people who are for you will be there for you because they see your gifts. They appreciate your gifts. And you know how they can appreciate your gifts? Because you appreciate your gifts. You see your own value. You understand how much your services can impact their life. When you think about how riding horses has impacted your life, could you even possibly measure the difference in your quality of life? Is that possible for you? If you had to put a dollar amount on how much you would pay to have this satisfaction, this joy from something you love, could you even put a dollar amount on that? Right? When it's the thing you love, when it's the thing that's changed your life, that's made life worth living, right? That moment of, that feeling of freedom you get, that feeling of enjoyment, that feeling of, it all makes sense. You can't put a dollar amount on that. And when we honor the value of our offering, we allow other people to see that value and to actually absorb it. And when we value ourselves higher, something magical happens with our clients. They start to value what they're receiving from you higher. I have clients who I started coaching with at my introductory rates, which were less than $100 a session. And the progress that they made was great. It was awesome. They brought their life from here to here. They lifted it up. But eventually I realized I didn't have enough time to service all the clients that were coming in. And I decided to raise my rates. And I raised them double and then double again. And my clients now who have come into my offering, who are paying me $2,500 a month, they, for one session a month and one group session a month, they've made the biggest changes in their life because they want to get something out of what they've invested. And they value this. And they read my sales page where they understand how much this can impact their life. And it set their expectations. They read the testimonials from other people and go, oh, wow, I can radically transform my life in 6 months of coaching with this person. They expected that. They thought long and hard about the financial investment. They thought about it. Does this make sense for me? How badly do I want this? How badly do I want this change in my life? For some of them, it was becoming healthier, losing the weight they finally, after 10 years, were ready to lose. For some of them, it was finding their person, being willing to date, put themselves out there. For some of them, it was leaving their job and finding a new job, doing what they're actually purposeful about. Manifesting their dream house, actually being willing after 20 years in one house to say, no, I want to move. I want to move. I want to have a new life. I want to step into a new home, a new career. Those people have transformed their lives. And they would tell you they're a different version of themselves. They didn't just go, I took my life from here to here. They're like, it's not even the same life. I'm a different me. And they took everything I said and they wrote it down and they saved it as voice recordings in their phone and they listened to it and they practice it. The actual effect on your clients is different when you ask them to invest in themselves. Because as long as your offering costs as much as a massage, they're like, okay, it's gonna help me about as much as a massage does, right? We've all had a massage that feels great for a few days, right? And then a few days later, you're like, I'm back. Or if they invest in this new knowledge and it costs them about as much as it would cost to go to cosmetology school or accounting school or, any professional training where they learn a new skill set and are able to offer themselves in a new way, they go, oh, okay, this is valuable. I just learned some information that can radically change my life. The level of what you price yourself at changes the level of value that they perceive you're offering to have. And if you really care about your clients getting out of writing what you've gotten out of writing, that ineffable feeling, that non-definable amount of value, if you actually want your clients to experience that and to care enough about their writing to become the best writer that they can become, you have to price yourself at a place where they can value that. They have to choose to make that investment. Because when you choose to invest in yourself, you choose to believe in yourself. That's what all of you are doing here today. It was a big deal to choose to believe in yourself, to choose to decide that you deserve more, that it's not wrong, that you deserve a life that feels really good to you, that you deserve to feel relaxed when the bills come in. You chose to believe in yourself. It's a beautiful thing. And you give your clients the opportunity to choose to believe in themselves when you price yourself something that requires them to really make a decision, not just go, this is the cost of dinner, this is the cost of one night in a hotel. Maybe you need to value yourself at the level that your value for writing is actually placed at, the degree to which you truly value this commitment in your life. So the 3 pillars of an empowered mindset that we've talked about today. Number 1, audit your belief system and choose your beliefs. The most important part. We'll be going over this a little bit more in a moment, so you can really drill down and find yours. Number 2, be your own best friend, especially in these 66 days. So today is October 7th. Okay, great. October, November, December 7th. That's not very far away. Well, we need to add 6 days to that. 7th, 1, 2, 3, 13. December 13th. I know. That is a good question. Dr. Joe Dispenza is an expert on consciousness and mindfulness, and he talks about 66 days. About essentially, you have neural pathways in your brain, and neural pathways that fire together, wire together. So if you think the same thought over and over again, right, we wire and make those certain neural pathways stronger. It takes 66 days for new neural pathways to be formed in the brain. So if you imagine a snowy hill, like all fresh snow, and one set of ski tracks going down that hill, that gets deeper and deeper the more people that go through that one set of tracks, right? And that's our brain. We've thought the same thought a number of times. That belief gets hardwired. That belief gets automated. We don't even really go, do I deserve this or do I not? Our brain goes, you don't, you don't, you don't. We get deep in that one track. Yeah, and it's easy, right? You go faster and faster. It's like a luge by the end of it. But let's say you're like, okay, new belief. Let's choose a new belief and let's rewire that pattern. Let's create a new pattern in the brain. We take that big snowy hill and make a new set of tracks. The first time you go through that deep snow, it's like, ooh, resistance. It's like up to your thighs, you're barely moving. The second time, it's a little faster. The third time, it's a little faster. But it's going to take multiple reps, lots of consistent reps to get that track as fast as the other one, right? Because the other one has years of experience. So the brain can change. The brain is capable of change. And so often we feel like, no, my brain's getting more and more like chosen for me, like that idea of we become more like ourselves as we get older. But if you decide to change, you can change. And that's the beauty. But it does take some time for your neural pathways, for the actual formations of those little, what are they called? I can't remember the name. The actual process of the part that fires in the brain. It's like something, synapses. For those new neural synapses to actually start firing and getting used to firing together. So you just got to wade through the wonkiness. But everyone in this room, by December 13th, you can have a new way of thinking. And it starts to get easier and easier until it becomes your automatic thought pattern. And then you automatically start to think that way. And like for me, the first couple of times people asked me to speak for free, to do anything for free, the automatic response was, of course. Or even if they offered to pay me, it was like, no, I got it. Nope, it's fine. I love this. I would do it for free. Now my automatic synapse, after about a year of really changing my brain, is somebody asks me to do something, I immediately think, great, I'll send you my pricing. It's not in my frame of thought unless it's a charity thing or a brother thing, that it's not within my field of reference that I would give away my gifts for free, right? So your neural pathways can change. Being your own best friend, number 2. Number 3, live with intention. Make choices. That's how your life changes. You make different choices that support your empowerment, not your disempowerment. So now we're going to move through a little bit of a workshop to help you uncover what it is you really want, to really define that vision, and to dispel any of the limiting beliefs that are keeping you from that, because your limiting beliefs are subconscious, which means that they're hidden. They're hidden from you. You're not walking around being like, I'm unworthy of good things. I'm unworthy of good things. You're not aware of that, right? But your life programs you in certain ways, and we take on certain beliefs, and often when you look at them, you're like, oh, that belief is not relevant to me anymore. You just got to look at it through your logical, brilliant mind, not your emotional mind, which made up its decision a long time ago. So on a fresh page, I would love you to write, dream big, and underline it. We're going to start by dreaming big. And because all of you are here focusing on your career, we're going to focus on that area of your life. So under that, write career. So the first question I want to ask you is, how is this area of your life going? How's your career going? What do you like and not like? Well, I'll do about a minute per question. So what do you like? What do you not like? How's this area going? What do you like and not like? What do you wish were different and why? What do you wish were different and why? If it were the way that you wanted it to be, how would you feel? If it were the way you wanted it to be, how would you feel? Then I want you to circle those feelings. We'll come back to those later. And just rereading those feelings a little bit. Just imagining your life feeling that way. Maybe it's relaxed. Maybe you'd feel more free. You'd feel more generous. You'd feel lighter. If it were the way you wanted it to be, how would you feel? Okay, now if you felt that way, those emotions that you just wrote down, if you felt that way in your life as your baseline state, imagine you've been feeling that way for like a year. That's just you now. What are 3 experiences that you would want to have if you felt that way? It might not be related to your career. It might be like, I'm a better grandmother and I take my grandkids out for lunch once a week. It might be that I enjoy downtime with my partner at night. I'm not working till 7 o'clock at night. What are 3 experiences you would want to have if you felt that way? You might be like, I buy myself new clothes and I'm so excited to wear them. I'd love to hear from you guys. What's one experience you'd want to have if you felt the way you wanted to feel? If you were born in December, raise your hand. Any December birthdays? Will you tell us one experience that you'd want to have if you felt the way you wanted to feel? Yeah, totally. Love that. And what was the feeling that you'd want to feel, or some of the feelings? Yes, less stressed. Right, removing that stress. Who else wanted to feel less stressed? Yeah, oh, to remove stress in your life. What a good feeling. Yeah. If you're born in February, raise your hand. February babies? August? Yes. What was the feeling that you wanted to feel? Relieved, totally. And what was one of the experiences you wanted to have?
I get to ride my horses a lot, but I want to ride them more.
Yeah. Who wants to ride their horses more? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to get to enjoy your own life. Mm-hmm. Last one. If you were born in January, raise your hand. Thank you. What was the feeling you wanted to feel? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love that. And what was one of the experiences you wanted to have? Yes. Yes. Oh. So empowering. Awesome. And now imagine that that's your baseline state, right? You're doing those things. Everything you wrote down, you're doing all those things. You're feeling that way and you are doing those things. You've been living like that for a few years. That's you now. That's your life. Now, what are 3 even bigger experiences you'd want to have if that was your baseline level? What are 3 even bigger experiences you would want to have beyond that? And they don't have to be related to your career. They can be anywhere in your life. Maybe it's like, I would buy a second home. I'd have a vacation home. You don't have to think about how to make it happen right now. I just want you to dream big, to actually let your mind reach new levels of expansiveness. Sometimes we don't let ourselves think this big, right? It's fun. It's your life. What do you want to make of it? What are the even bigger experiences you'd want to have? Maybe you'd invest in something in your house that would make you super happy. Maybe your dream is to have 3 clients that pay you really well, you know? I have like 3 dream clients. Great. So now you have your 10 times bigger vision for your life. You're actually reopening that portal for dreaming. When you're a kid, you dream, right? You want to be an astronaut. You want to this, that. Your life is in some ways a representation of your dreams. You got into this because you love what you do, right? But we're bringing back online that extra dreaming now with your conscious mind, what you would like to do, what could be possible for you. And now we're going to deconstruct some limiting beliefs. So I want you to spend about a minute writing, why don't you already have the life you truly desire? Why don't you already have that life? No judgment, but just why don't you have it? How do you justify or rationalize? This part can be a little sobering, and that's okay. We're going into our mind with love and compassion. So be easy on yourself, but just be willing to ask yourself, why don't I already have this? Now, as I spoke about earlier, your life will always meet your subconscious belief system. So if you have a belief that it's not possible, or you're not worthy, or it's wrong, it's going to hold you back from being able to achieve this belief. So I want you to ask yourself, when you read that story, go ahead and read that story of why you don't have it, just reading it for yourself. When you read that story, what must that person believe about themselves to keep them separate from what they truly desire? What is the I am or the I am not statement that applies to this person? And it might be a little bit hard to uncover, but if it were somebody else, if they said, hey, this is my dream, this is what I really want, but this is what I have. And you read that story of rationalization. Is it, I am not worthy? Or it's not possible? Is it things like that don't happen for people like me? If you can try to bring it into an I am statement, because if it's things like that don't happen for people like me, what does that mean about you? What is people like you? Well, people that don't, come from lots of money. If that's your experience, you might say, well, then I'm not supposed to have lots of money. Or maybe you grew up with money around and you felt kind of unworthy of it. Felt kind of like bad for having it when other people didn't have very much. Is there sort of like an I'm not deserving happening there? What is the I am or the I am not statement? When you bring it back to you, what is the belief that you're holding about yourself or your life that's keeping you from what you really want? And this part can be a little tricky to boil down. Do we have a brave volunteer who's willing to be our guinea pig? Yes, perfect. Yeah. Wow. Can anybody else relate? Raise your hand. Yeah. And horses are an expensive business, right? So to be in that place of not deserving of this, not deserving of that, keeps you kind of stuck in this middle place. And I'm not deserving. That's a powerful limiting belief. I'm not worthy of that. I'm not worthy of having this, but I'm also bad because I have more than other people. And if you had to guess between which one of those is stronger, I'm not worthy of having the level I want, or I'm bad for having too much, which one feels kind of stronger? Yeah. Can anybody else relate to that belief? I'm not worthy of achieving what I want. That's come up for me in my life too. I think it's really easy for that belief to pour in. So when you have your statement, everyone's going to go through the same process. I want you to first ask yourself, is it true? Who has an I am statement? Raise your hand. Do you have an I am or an I am not? Were you able to find one? Were you able to boil it down? Great. So there's a lot of you that don't. If you haven't figured out your I am statement yet, raise your hand. Totally understandable. We'll help you guys and then we'll go down the process and continue with you. Is there a feeling in the story that you read about why you don't have what you want? Is there a feeling that comes up for you when you read it? For either of you? No. Yeah. Yeah.
what I see is the limit, and not having the I am statement in my head is I'm like maybe that's its own problem, right? So not to be able to lock it down to that level is maybe what I'm seeing.
Well, and sometimes the I am statement, I should clarify this for everyone, is not so much an I am. Maybe it's not possible. Or why do you believe, like, when you think about those funds that you would need to take it to the next level, why haven't those come in, do you believe? Haven't asked enough people. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you believe it will happen. You just haven't done it yet. It just hasn't happened yet. Great. And when you don't ask, like when you sometimes feel like, sometimes there's those moments, right, where you could kind of choose that moment, but maybe you don't yet. Are you not kind of moving forward because it's just not the right time? Or is there something that holds you back?
Not that I can think of. I mean,
Yeah.
especially because I've asked a fair number,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's easier each time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've asked, and she said, why not? You've gotten this far, you've made it this far, you've gotten everything you wanted so far.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you ask for
Mm-hmm.
the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really stuck in my head in the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not ask? Because what's there to lose?
Yeah. It feels like the time is now is a really powerful mantra for you right now. Like the time is now because I choose it. I will it to be so. And so if previously there was maybe like a subtle subconscious belief of like it's not the time, it's not the moment, it's not the time is the belief that I would have you do this exercise with, just to kind of really dispel all the logic into it. So you can really get firm on the idea that the time is now by the end of this exercise. Thank you.
I think a lot of times, like, I keep redoing my supporting material, like doing them over and over.
Yeah.
I think that's a reaction point. It's like, hey, my pocket's down tight.
Totally. And sometimes pouring all the energy into like the getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready is like a way to not just take the action, right? I've done that a lot too. Yeah, okay. So the time is now, it's not the right time would be the belief to work with because we're looking for just like a slight or strong negative limiting belief to work through this exercise with. And then next to you, were you able to kind of find your limiting belief through talking through his, or is it not coming up yet? Yeah. That's totally fine. You just absorb. It'll all hit you at the right time. So is everybody able to find sort of the negative belief that's holding them back a little bit? Just one that you can work with for now. It's not the right time. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable. People don't have the money. Whatever the belief is, it's wrong. It's not right. People will be mad at me. What is the negative belief that you're kind of working with inside your brain? So the first question, and we'll start with, what was your name in the back that shared first? In a brown jacket? Lacrell. No worries. Lacrell is your name? Mac, Coach Mac. Okay. So Coach Mac, do you believe that it's true? Like that you're not worthy of playing at that next level? Okay, great. And for everyone, that's your first question. Do you believe it's true? Is this really true? The thing that's holding you back, that you calcified in there at some point, when you look at it through your logical, rational, brilliant mind now, is it true? That's question one. If you said no, great. If you said yes, I want you to ask yourself, do you absolutely know it's true? Would it hold up in court? If you asked 10 of your closest friends and family and other people at your barn and other trainers that you know, would they absolutely say, yep, that's true? Is it certifiably true? If it's not going to pass all those litmus tests, it's not true. So hopefully you're all at no by this point. Like, yeah, maybe your brain's really hung on to it being true, but it's actually not true, right? It's not logical. It's emotional. What happens, this is the third question, what happens when you believe that belief? When you start thinking that belief and it starts kind of looping in your brain, what happens? Do you start eating? Do you start getting a little bit desperate feeling and pitching new clients? And do you start doing more work? Do you start drinking? Do you start doing dishes? Yeah. Yeah. What do you... Yeah, totally. What do you do? Like, just write down like 3 to 5 things that you do. What are the actions that you're taking when you're under the influence of that belief? because your beliefs are very powerful. Your life is running on them. They're the program. If your brain is a computer, they're the program installed on that computer. So what actions get taken from that code? Coach Mac, what's one of yours? Yeah, disturb your home life, right? We take that feeling of like inadequacy or inability or frustration and we put it somewhere else, right? I've done that. Who's done that? Yeah, you take your frustration out somewhere else. And here in the leopard top, what's one of your actions that you take when you're under the influence of your negative belief? Right here. Yeah, you. Yeah. Yeah, totally. So many good shows. It's very easy, right? Yeah. Yeah, zone out. What about you right here in the sweatshirt? What's one action? Zone out. Yeah, right? Yeah, things that don't really matter. Busy work. Okay, great. So we all kind of know what we do, right? We place our energy and attention somewhere else so that we don't have to deal with that thing. Now, who would you be, or let me ask you this question. Yeah. Who would you be without that belief? Who would you be without that belief? Just imagine it whoop, vacuumed out of your brain, not part of your consciousness, not playing its games in your life, not looping. Who would you be without that belief? Coach Mac, who would you be without that belief? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Your most powerful self. Dominant. Powerful. Right here in the gray shirt in the front row. Who would you be without this belief? More relaxed and self-loving. Yeah. Yeah. And a plan of, you would be a man of action, self-loving, action, relaxed. Oh, that sounds good. Yes. So hopefully you've all written down who you'd be without this belief, and it's kind of dreamy, right? And this is who you could be. Now, lastly, what belief could exist if that belief were not there? What new belief could exist inside your mind if that belief were gone? What could replace that belief? Coach Mac, what belief could exist if that belief weren't there? I am deserving, yes. And now I want you to take that belief and what are some actions that the person who believes that takes in your life this week, this month, this year? If you believe that new belief, that empowered belief, what are some actions you take? So these actions are your plan of action. This is what you're going to do. And it's going to lead you to those circled feelings that you wrote. And I said, how would you want to feel in your life? That's what you're actually seeking. You think you're seeking more money, but you're seeking more money to get to that feeling. And it's okay to get the money and to get that feeling. But I want you to do as many things as you can from that belief system. That's the living with intention. You act like the person who believes that belief. Even if it's a little weird, even if it doesn't feel natural, you do that. Why? Out of love to yourself. Out of appreciation and respect for yourself and your gifts and everything you bring into this world. You act like the person who believes that belief. And those feelings that you wanted to feel, that you circled, relaxed, happy, free, peaceful, you do things in your life today, this week, this month, that make you feel that way. You choose to do things that create that feeling in your life, because the more you're living in that feeling, the more quickly you become that version of you. So just remember, your life is up to you. You have the ability to create change in your life at any given point. It's never too late. You've already chosen to be here. Take this intention, take all that you've learned here today and that you will continue to learn, and bring it into your life. That is how you change your life, by changing your belief system and acting like the person who believes that belief system. Taking inspired action and being your best friend along the way. Why? Because it's a long road, and you deserve to enjoy this life. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate all of your effort, all of your participation. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. If you're interested in working with me more, you can come see me at the end. I have a couple different programs, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.